So let's begin the top 25 lost episode creepypastas.
Regular show. I can fix this. This lost episode is more of an uncut version of the original, but nonetheless, it's much more gory and intense. The creator of the show, J.G. Quintal, invited his friends over to watch the screening of the new episode, I Can Fix This. Everything played out normal until it got up to the freezer scene where the protagonists Mordecai and Rigby get locked inside the park freezer. Mordecai blamed Rigby for the situation and started attacking him. The duo ended up in a scuffle, and in one scene it showed Mordecai strangling Rigby in a realistic fashion. What's more, for a cartoon, blood was shown in the scene, and in another, Mordecai was gaining satisfaction in torturing Rigby. The episode ends when Mordecai kills Rigby and simply smiles to himself.
Ah, Real Monsters. Final Scare. Ah, Real Monsters is an American animated television series about adolescent monsters in training. It was developed for Nickelodeon and featured three monsters, Ickis, Obelina, and Crumb, who attended an institute for monsters under a city dump and learned to frighten humans. An article explained how one version of the show was filmed on a VHS tape. The person had found it at a yard sale. This episode featured a more gruesome and darker story than the original episodes. Inside the Monster Academy, the Grumble was seen telling Ickis, Obelina, and Crumb and Zimbo that tonight the four of them would team up and perform one final scare.
In the next scene, Crumb was thrown under a bus by Obelina, where he is killed instantly. Ickis crept up behind a mime and dug his claws into a man's skull. The mime fell backwards onto Ickis, killing him. Zimbo chokes a woman to death, but is stuck inside her throat, and a young boy begins beating himself on the sidewalk. The scene then changes back to the Monster Academy, where the Grumble starts congratulating Obelina on her success by killing the humans and tricking the others to suicide, while stating it was the best scare he's seen in decades. Then, the episode ends.
SuicideMouse.avi. Honestly, nothing is more disturbing, messed up, and creepy than this lost episode based on the popular Disney character Mickey Mouse. Now, we have covered this one a number of times on our top 22 non-gaming creepypastas and in other places, but we'll explain it once more because it's just that interesting. Suicide Mouse starts off with Mickey walking from left to right down a repeating street, and it carries on for a bit until the sound cuts out and the video starts to get distorted. Eventually, you hear disjointed screams, and they sound female. And this carries on until you hit the end credits, where you see the happy, well-known mouse. Now, the legend goes that the original Suicide Mouse was discovered by a higher-up Disney executive, and once he watched it, he killed himself, leaving behind what you can now find on the internet. Again, it's not sure how the video causes suicide, but the facts behind this story are incredibly spotty. We do know that watching this video all the way through can often cause feelings of discomfort, depression, nausea, and a very deep sense of fear and dread.
Stick Stickly. Stick Stickly is a fictional character created by Nickelodeon. He's a popsicle stick with googly eyes, a jelly bean nose, and a small mouth. He was the host of Nick in the Afternoon, a programming block on the network that aired summers from 1995 to 1998 on weekday afternoons. There were 6 videos on a Stick Stickly website called First Ever Stick Stickly Appearance. The first began with Stickly in front of a chalkboard. He had no nose, and his mouth was straight. He proceeded to make a few jokes, and the episode ended. The second was called Stick Gets Injured. His face was the same as before, and he had a few splinters sticking out his side. The third was called Hang Stick. Stickly was hanging in the air by a piece of string tied around his waist. A little boy was playing a game of hangman, and every time he got a letter wrong, the string would move higher. The game was over when the string reached Stickly's neck. The fourth video was called Stick Quits. He was complaining that no one cared about him and that he was treated like a toothpick. Then a little child appeared and told him that everyone loved him, so he decided to stay. The fifth video was marked Stick Gets Mad. This episode had no sound, but it showed that Stickly was shouting at a little girl who was hiding from him, and eventually she left. The sixth episode was called The Winner Revealed. Stickly had a dark red stain on the top of his head, and one of his eyes was an X. Stickly announced that the viewers voted for Candle Cove.
Rugrats, Chucky's mom. Rugrats is an animated TV series for Nickelodeon. The show focuses on a group of toddlers, most prominently Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica, and their day-to-day lives, usually involving common life experiences that become adventures in the babies' imaginations. Adults in the series are almost always unaware of what the children get up to. However, this only provides more room for the babies to explore and discover their surroundings. Now, during the height of popularity, there was an adult version put to the test. Due to the disturbing nature of the pilot episode, it was never aired, but it was shown around the studio. Until one morning, the adult pilot episode was mistaken for a normal episode. This episode featured Chucky standing next to his dying mother while she sang My Only Sunshine. The scene cuts to a live-action chicken getting his head cut off, said to symphonize death by the audience. Chucky cries and screams before having a seizure. The scene then dissolves to Chucky's dad crying in a hospital waiting room, and then back to Chucky waking up to the paramedics trying to revive him. We later find out that whatever condition that Chucky's mom had, she had inherently passed it on to him as well. The final scene shows Chucky's dad crying over the body of his now dead son.